And we are live. Welcome to the Boxing Bookie. We got cords everywhere, man. This is a Hang on 1 minute, y'all. All right, here we are. I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Are we good? All right. Put a comment. Put a comment in the comment section. Let me know how y'all doing. 2-0 today. 2-0. Again, the Boxing Bookie comes through for you. Let's count our money together. I hit on Erik Bazinyan in the main event by stoppage, and I also hit on Steve Claggart to win. Again, follow the Boxing Bookie, and he's going to consistently make you money. The Boxing Bookie is going to consistently make you money. Every single week we're making money now. We don't skip a week. We don't miss a week. We make money every single week. Let some people pour in. Let some people come in. Leave a comment in here so I know that you're up in here when you do get here. But you guys starting to see what the Boxing Bookie can do for you? You're starting to get it? The Boxing Bookie is coming through for you every single week. It's only Thursday, and we've already cashed in. Saturday, we got a bunch of cards coming up. We're going to make some more. We got 2 cards coming up, one in the UK, one in Arizona, one in the United States. We're going to make some more money. It's going to be a big week. We're going to make a ton of money this week. I got 5 videos out or so for this week. I think 5. We can make some more money. I'll break it all down for you. If you guys have any requests, if there's any fights y'all want me to break down, let me know. I will break down the fights for y'all. Join my Patreon. It's $5 a month. You get the lock of the week. I'll break down any fight you want. You'll get a free t-shirt right there. That's for the price of admission. I mean, can't get any better than that. So join my Patreon. It's 3D Boxing at Patreon. Let's see if I can find the link. I'm not real good at this. But that was a lot of times I like these cards that Eye of the Tiger puts on. Top Rank airs them. It's not bad. This card, if I'm going to be honest, was not great. This was not great. This was not a real good card. Not real good at all. What'd you guys think of the card? It was kind of whack, right? Did anyone actually watch it? I wasn't even going to do this live because I really didn't think anyone was going to watch that fight. I don't know if there's good TV on Thursday. There's no more football. I don't know what y'all watch, but usually, if you watch live TV, Thursday is a good day. I didn't know if anyone was going to even pay attention to this. I didn't really see boxing Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it today going crazy. I have no idea if anyone watched this fight. I really don't know. But I watched it. I didn't really watch the Ramirez fight. I just watched the Claggart fight and the Bazinyan fight because those are the 2 fights that I had the videos on that I had an interest in. And I of course, as I always do, I hit on both. I hope Ryan shows up because Ryan told me Claggart's fight was going to go the distance. And I told him Barazza was going to quit because I'd watched him quit, and he had a history of quitting against high-level opposition when he's losing, and it's exactly what he did. I don't get more money. There was no prop that he would quit on the stool, though if there was, I would have picked that too. But he had previously quit, done the same thing, didn't get off the stool, and then had a fight against Giovanni Stafford years ago, where he kept spitting his mouthpiece out to get disqualified, and he got out of the fight that way. So this is a guy with a history of looking to get out of fights. And that's exactly what he did. What we got going here? What do we got going here? I don't even know what we got going here. All right, guys, put your thoughts, comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. We can make this a short live tonight. There's not a lot to get into. Just everyone's thought on Erik Bazinyan. Does anyone think he's particularly good? He's a big, strong mule of a guy. He's an ox. He's 28, so he's hitting his physical peak. He's in his prime. And like, is this as good as it gets? He's 28, 32-0 now. 32-0. Like, I mean, he's got some decent ones. He's got a win over Ronald Ellis. This guy, Billi Godoy, is nothing really to write home about. We knew how this was going to go. I don't even know why they would make a fight like this. Like, this is not an intriguing fight. Billi Godoy had no chance in this fight. He got knocked out in the third. He had lost to Gualtieri, Vincenzo Gualtieri, former IBF champ. Went the distance with him. But besides that, I mean, he got demolished by Jesus Alvarez. He lost to Walton Kakandakwa, the guy that fought and Andrade. Got knocked out in 5 to him. So I knew, and now he's 37, 38 years old, whatever he is. I knew this wasn't going to go long. He's got a loss to John Ryder. That's back in 2015. He got stopped. He got stopped by a guy named Martin Fidel Rio. This is a guy that gets stopped. This is a guy that gets stopped. So I really didn't expect much. I really didn't think much of this guy at all. And this is what we got. Hopefully next time we get something a little better. But I'm a fan of these cards. I'm a fan of any midweek card. Breaks up the week. But they had good fighters on these cards in Quebec. These Eye of the Tiger cards that top rank splits or I guess top rank co-promotes, and you get them on ESPN Plus. And I think Claggett's a good fighter. Like Claggett's not going to win a world title, but he's a pesky guy. He's pressure. He's fun to watch, and he always makes for an entertaining fight. I would love to see Claggett fight Omar Juarez. I'd love to see Claggett fight Hector Tanahara. Any of these fights would be really good fights. But Claggett's a legit 140-pounder, a top 10, a top 15 guy at 140 pounds. And they had him in with someone he shouldn't have been in with. These were all mismatches, except in the co-main events, which I didn't watch much of. I went back to the Nets game, but Albert Ramirez, boy, if they had high hopes for him, he ain't it. Do you guys think he won the fight? Did anyone think that he won that fight? I'm fine, and I thought I didn't score it, but I know that it was close. I only saw the second half of the fight. It didn't look like he was winning all those many rounds. The judges that had it 10-0. I mean, that's truly. I watched the last 4 rounds of the fight. I don't think he won a single one of them. Maybe he won one. Maybe. And one of the judges, 190, 99, 91, 98, 92. I mean, all that tells me is that what's the other guy's name? Zlatanov had no chance of winning, and the judges had already filled their scorecards out. Like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain about scorecards, but those scorecards were absolutely 100% ridiculous. I mean, 190. He won every round? Really? Because I watched the last 4 of that fight. He didn't win any of them. I don't even understand how that's like. There needs to be an investigation. And I'm not saying he won or lost. I didn't watch the first 6 rounds. And I wasn't scoring super close. But I can tell you he wasn't winning. Let's go. Ryan says, you and I should get a cut of Tanahara's future purses for resurrecting his name from a career that should have never existed in the first place. All right, Ryan. Tanahara was a superb amateur. Like a superb amateur. I've told the story about Clay Burns, him coming up. Clay Burns fought Hector Tanahara and Devin Haney. And I asked him who was better at that stage of development. And he said, by far, Tanahara. Without hesitation, he said Tanahara. Claggett would do the same to Tanahara. Let's not get crazy, Ryan. Let's make that fight. Claggett and Tanahara. Without cap, Ryan, who wins? Tanahara or Claggett? Who wins that fight? Who wins? Hector Tanahara, Claggett, 140 pounds. Who wins? I know what you're going to say. I'd be shocked if you said Tanahara, but Tanahara wins. Let's make the fight. I think it's Claggett by murder. I knew you were going to say that. Claggett dog walks him, right? Claggett's not a bad fighter. He doesn't shine Hector Tanahara's shoes, but Claggett's definitely a good fighter. He stops him too. He stops him quicker than Zepeda, huh? Like he dog walks him, Ryan? Let me ask you this. This is a legitimate question. Claggett versus Omar Juarez. Who wins? I think that's a fun fight. I think it's a good win for Omar. Omar wins that fight because he's a much better boxer. But Omar likes to fight on the inside when he should be on the outside because of his speed and lack of power. But I think Omar wins that fight. Omar Juarez and Steve Claggett. Who you got? You've never heard of Omar Suarez? Me either. I said Omar Juarez. I know what I said. I didn't say Suarez. I said Juarez. Who we got? We got Ryan Garcia or Steve Claggett? Does Claggett get in on Ryan Garcia and make his life miserable? I don't think that. You've never heard of Omar Juarez? That's my boy. Like Hector Tanahara is my boy. Ryan Garcia beats Claggett. Yeah. Did I OD on that one? I think Claggett's a good fighter. I definitely think Claggett give people problems. I don't know how many of the top 10 or 15 names he can beat, but he can definitely give them issues. And in the main event, Erik Bazinyan. Am I saying that right? I'm never going to get that name right. Anyone at all think that he was good? Anyone see a future in Erik Bazinyan? Do we like him? Do we think that he's a high-level fighter? I'd like to see him get a better opponent than Billi Godoy, who's 38 years old, uninterested in winning. Like Erik Bazinyan is on the verge of fighting for a world title. Don't you think we should do a little better than old Billy Boy here? Like, can't we get him a live body? Put a live body in front of him? On the and what is that announcer's name? He also does some work for DAZN. What is that announcer's name? Shackles? Is that his name? Something like that? Shackless? Something like that. Shackleford? The announcer that was doing the fight. What's his name? But he was saying like Bazinyan could potentially fight Canelo. Could you imagine that? That would be like the worst fight. That's not gonna happen, right? For a litany of reasons. A, he's not good enough. B, he's with the wrong promoter. Like, C, it's just not gonna happen. Like, but he was talking about that. Like that's a real possibility. I mean, like Bazanyan's probably a top 10, maybe top 15, somewhere in between 10 and 15. Super middleweight. He's a good fighter, but there's not much to him. He's just strong as an ox. He's a super poor man's David Benavidez. Like, if I pull up the landscape of 168, we go pull up boxing. I mean, who's he really beating at 168 pounds? It's 32-0. That's good. Top BoxRec has him as the 15th ranked super middleweight. Which one of these names? I'm going to pull it up. Here it is. Share. I'm going to pull it up here. Which one of these names does he beat? Benavidez, of course not. Munguia, no. Ryder, no. Billy, no. Sergey Derevchenko, no. Caleb Plant, no. Andre, no. Morel, no. Vladimir Shiskinin, no. I don't know this Cuban guy. Beck the Bully. Could he beat Beck the Bully? Could he be? That's an interesting one. Could Bazinyan beat Beck the Bully? Maybe. That's like the one he might be able to beat. Anyone else on this name? Diego Pacheco, no. And then Bazinyan, no. Mark Jeffers? Yeah, he could beat Mark Jeffers. They should make that fight. Have him fight Mark Jeffers. Mark Jeffers got a win last week, so the timing of it all works out really well. Erik Bazinyan and Mark Jeffers. We can do that in May. Let's do it in May. But there's not a whole lot to talk about. This was not the most thrilling card. It wasn't the most entertaining card. It was mostly mismatches. It's just not wasn't a hyper entertaining card. It wasn't a well matched card. You just had one sided beatdowns. I didn't really watch any of the prelims fights. Like I said, I really just watched Steve Claggett because Claggett's always fun, and I had an interest in that. But I got you to 2-0 again. I got you to 2-0 once again. I showed you how to consistently make money on the sport of boxing. I truly hope y'all are listening to me. If you guys do gamble on sports, that's something that you do. I'm showing you how to make money. We're doing it every single week. I told you, I know how to handicap the sport. I know how to bring down the house. The odds makers don't. Bookies don't. They don't know what they're doing. You go find your online book, and I will beat it. I will always beat the boxing book. It's not that hard. They don't know what they're doing. I'm showing you how to do it. What y'all should do is join my Patreon. Join my Patreon, get my lock of the week. You can go crazy on my lock of the week because that's going to make you money. But I make you money on all the fights. You get a free T-shirt. You get all types of perks. I'll do a scouting report for you. I'll break down any fight that you want. I'll handicap any fight that you want because you're my Patreon. And that's all for $5 a month plus so much more. So join my Patreon. I guess we're going to wrap this up pretty quickly. It's not very lively. I don't think many people watch this fight. We got a nice little card next weekend. Patty Donovan in the house. I think Patty Donovan's a really, really good prospect. I'm probably going to do a scouting report on him pretty soon. Patty Donovan he's the real deal. No pun intended. Patty Donovan's a real good fighter. Is that the main event? I don't even know what the main event on that card is. Because there's Patty Donovan, Louis Crocker versus Jose Felix, but Louis Crocker is not going to be the main event. Patty Donovan's the biggest prospect, but you also have Siobhan Clark and Tommy McCarthy. It's not a bad little card that Eddie Hearn's putting on. And you got his favorite guy, Kona Walker, on it too, who's a fun fighter, who's fighting an undefeated guy, who I don't know. Lloyd German, I don't know him. But you got a bunch of decent fights on it. I just don't know who the main event is. It's not a bad card. And then, I did that. I broke down Louis Crocker and Jose Felix. I broke down Siobhan Clark and Tommy McCarthy. And I also have, I haven't done Patty Donovan. I'm going to see if there's a line on that. I'll probably end up doing Patty Donovan for you too. He's fighting Williams Andres Herrera, another Argentinian guy. These Argentinian guys are getting a lot of shine. They get a lot of shine. Yeah, I thought so. This guy Herrera fought on one of those Eye of the Tiger cards over the summer. I thought so. But see if I can find tape on him, I'll break that down too. I'll do that. The Patty Donovan fight. I gotta do one more fight at least. But it's still early in the week, so it's only Thursday. But we're gonna keep making money. We're going to keep making money. Patty Donovan is a good prospect. We get to go watch his fights. It's worth it. And then I can turn that into a scouting report. But I would imagine Patty Donovan is going to win that fight. If you guys haven't seen Patty Donovan, Irish guy, obviously Patty Donovan. Southpaw, welterweight. I'm not sure if that's the weight he's going to stay at. But he's fought only at welterweight. He's not a big dude. He's not a massive hitter. He's a little bit of pop. I wonder if he could do 140. I think 140, he could go down to 140 and fight Hector Tanahara at 140. But I don't know if he's going to stay at 147 when he gets to world-class fights. He looks pretty small for the weight class. Patty Donovan's a good fighter. He could be the next Irish world champion, but it's always tough at 147. He's 25. I think they could start moving him pretty quickly. He got a win over Danny Bowl in his last fight. That was on the Chantel Cameron Katie Taylor card, where Katie Taylor beat Chantel Cameron. Gary Coley was on that card, and then Patty Donovan, Sky Nicholson, that card. We can take this down now. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. If you have any more questions, comments at the end, now, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything you want me to answer, and we have the other card. I'll just briefly touch on that. Jaime Munguia is fighting John Rutter. I did that fight. That is a real tough fight to handicap. I'm only taking Jaime Munguia to win because it's a Golden Boy card in the United States, and he's going to get a bogus decision. Like, what's my gut feeling on that? My gut feeling is Jaime Munguia by bogus decision. Like, that's kind of my gut feeling on that. So that's what we're going with. Keith Thurman fights so sparingly. Like, I want to go back and watch Keith Thurman, but off the top of my head, and this is going to surprise people, just off the top of my head, I'm taking Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is a. Has the card been announced yet? Has the whole card? I mean, PBC better put something good on. Like they better. They don't have they haven't put any boxing on at all this year. It's their first card of the year. I'm pulling up the box rack. Let me see the card. Rolly Ramiro and Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz is going to rolly him. Then you have Lara and Zafara. Lara's going to destroy him. But it's good to see 40-year-old Lara back. That's good. He doesn't fight too often. And Frondora versus a Ukrainian guy. Do we know this guy? Oh, wow. Okay, I should know this guy. Why don't I know this guy? This Hungarian guy. He's got to win over my boy Rafael Abakwe. He lost to Brandon Adams. I gotta go. How do I know this guy? Has he fought on any big cards? He's got a win over Patrick Alate. That's a good win. First round knockout. He's got a win over Nathaniel Gallimore. That's a good win. And he's got a win over Rafael Abakwe. That's a solid win. But then he's got a stoppage loss to Brandon Adams. He's got a win over Tyrone Brunson. I feel like I should know this guy. Valenzuela, has he ever been on Showbox or something? How do I know this guy? That's a fun fight there. No, good shout by Ryan Hong on the Fandora versus the Ukrainian guy who I'm gonna have to scout. But off the top of my head, I'm not gonna touch that one yet. I want to look into this guy. But I think just top of my head, and these aren't official. I think Keith Thurman beats Zoo. I think Isaac Cruz Rolly Ramiro, and I think Arasande Lara stops Zavara quickly. And I'll get to the other fight later. I don't know. I don't know about that fight. Fandora and Bohachuk. Am I saying that right? I'll find out. WBC interim World Super Middleweight title. How is Fandora fighting for an interim title already? Like, he just got destroyed by Mendoza in his last fight. Like, that just happened. And now he's fighting for an interim title. So that's what happens. You get destroyed by Mendoza, and then you get to fight for a world title. I don't get why is that wild? Just because of the inactivity? Like, I know he's past his prime now, but like, has he shown any decline? Oh, speaking of Fondora's sister's fighting on the Golden Boy card, yeah. She's not very good. No, I agree. I think she loses. I didn't do that because like women's boxing is so hard to bet on. Like, it's so unpredictable. But yeah, she's not very good. That's nepotism. She's not particularly good. I think she might lose too. But I didn't do a video on that because women's boxing is brutal to bet on. Like, there's so many upsets, so many unpredictable things. Once in a while, I'll do a women's fight if I'm really confident on it. Like if Sinisa Estrada is fighting, I'll break it down because Sinisa's going to win. Thurman getting hurt to the body by Barrios. Zoo got to send him into the coffin. He ain't going to outbox him. He's not going to win rounds with him, so he better stop him. Like, I don't understand. Like, Keith Thurman, if he doesn't act like that, he doesn't quit and not box for 5 years of his prime, he's going to go down. He's go down as one of the great welterweights of all time. I don't understand the Keith Thurman. Like, okay. I understand the Keith Thurman hate. I understand why you would hate Keith Thurman. He never fought Spence. He never fought Crawford. Like, what did he do with his prime? I get it. I get it. But, like, you can't hate on his skills. Keith Thurman is, like, he's fast. He's powerful. He doesn't jab enough. But, like, Keith Thurman is the goods. Keith Thurman can scrap. Keith Thurman can bang. Keith Thurman can box. He's fast. He's athletic. Keith Thurman versus Tanahara at this point is competitive. That's how bad he's going to get hurt. Why do we think that Keith Thurman is that bad? First of all, I always pick against Zoo, so I guess I'm wrong about that. Like Zoo and David Benavidez, like they're gonna lose, right? And Zoo hasn't lost yet, so I've been wrong about that. I picked Harrison to beat him. I picked Mendoza to beat him. It hasn't happened, but like this is a world class A++ fighter. Now Thurman's gonna beat him. Thurman's gonna beat Tanahara. And then where does that leave with Thurman's gonna got that in my head. Thurman's gonna beat Zoo. And where does this leave my boy Virgil Ortiz? Where does Virgil Ortiz go now that I mean, maybe his pressure's going to get to him. I mean, maybe I think we're going to find out more about Keith Thurman than Zoo. Like, I feel like we know what Zoo is. Is Thurman shot, or does he have anything left in the tank? Like, I think if he has 90% left in the tank, he wins the fight. He likes Zoo by stoppage in the second half of the fight. I like Keith pulling points. I'll make a video on it officially. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I don't think so. Like, I've changed my mind before, but I don't see me changing my mind on this. I've seen enough of both of these guys. You know, Thurman doesn't fight much, so it's been a while. I mean, maybe I got to go back and refresh my memory a little bit. Like, it's been 2 years since he's fought again. Like, who does this? Just take 2 years off. Keith Thurman does. 100% lock of the year. That's bold. That's bold. What happens when I'm right again? Like, what you gonna start listening to me? If Keith Thurman wins this fight on points, I take Keith Thurman on the over. Or I take Keith Thurman, whatever. You know, is there a book on that yet? Like, I'll get into that soon. Inori Chan. God, really? You guys, Inori Chan. You put 10 grand on Zoo? I mean, maybe you got money that I don't know about. Maybe you got money like that. But why is everyone like, Keith Thurman's no good? Keith Thurman can't fight? I think this is a little bold, guys. Like, he's never looked bad in a fight ever. He's never had a bad fight. I'm more confident in that pick than I am that Tanahara will never fight for a world title. I mean, that's fair, right? Because we've seen some bad fighters fight for a world title. So that's fair, Ryan. Like, we've seen guys who should never be in the ring with a world champion be in the ring with a world champion. Like, whatever. But, all right, Thurman is washed. I get it. He's always like 35, 36 now. I get it. What fight has he had that he looked washed in? If you say Barrios, remember, Barrios steamrolled Ugas. Barrios steamrolled Ugas. Ugas beat Pacquiao, right? And Thurman outclassed Barrios. Like, I don't understand this at all. Is the age? Is that the only thing? It's like the age? And I know boxing math doesn't work that way. I get all that. I do. But, like, I don't, like, what are we basing Thurman is washed on? He dominated Barrios, who destroyed Ugas. I don't agree with that, Ryan. I don't agree with that. He did almost get stopped. He did almost get stopped by Jose Oliva. I don't know that it was 50-1. That seems a bit crazy, but it was a prohibitive underdog that almost stopped him. And Keith Thurman got his ass handed to him in the second half of that fight. That's fair. That's not wrong. Yeah, Zoo hasn't let me down yet in betting, and I don't see Thurman at this stage of his career as beating Zoo, who's gaining more and more confidence. But yeah, Thurman by points is a decent hedge. I like Thurman to win. Like, if you tell me you think this fight is competitive and because of his age and Zoo breaks him down and wins the fight late, maybe even a late stoppage. I can go with that. But like Thurman is watching, he's going to get his ass kicked. I don't see it like that. I think like Thurman. Is that because you think Zoo's really good, or you just think Keith Thurman's really bad? Like, I'm going to disagree with either, but I'm just wondering where you're coming from. Zoo versus Charlo. Let me do that. Zoo versus Charlo. Who you got? All right. Zoo is that good. Plus Thurman as well. So it's a combination of both. All right. Zoo versus Mel. Zoo versus Jamel Charlo. Who you got? I just want to see where you're putting him as opposed to where I'm putting him. Zoo after Charles dive against Canelo. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying he took a dive. He didn't fight. He didn't come to fight, though. We know that. He didn't come to win that fight. He loses his Texas card for that in my book. He should have come off the wall. Should he come off the wall? Guys, should Jamel Charlo come off the wall for what he did against Canelo? He's right behind me. Should he come off the wall? Is that a you lose your spot on the wall kind of performance? Would have to lead Zoo, but Charlo is alive. Oh, wow, you guys really okay? Zoo versus Virgil Ortiz. Who are you taking? He def took a dive. But my decision. Got even money for that. All right. I mean, I'm not. I don't know him that he took a dive. I know he didn't come to fight. I don't know that he took a dive. Ryan said he definitely took a dive. That performance was not that much different than Josh Clottey, who I said absolutely took a dive. So I don't hate that as a theory, Ryan. I'm just not going to vouch for it. You should ask him. You should take him off the wall and burn the photo. You guys agree? You think that performance is worthy of coming off the wall? It was bad. It was a non-effort in the big. You know what really pissed me off about that is both Charlo brothers have been calling Canelo out from the beginning, since they were fighting on Golden Boy cards when they were like 19 years old at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They were calling out Canelo. Then Mel finally gets the fight, and he does that. No shows. Doesn't even try to win. At no point in that fight did he even try to win. Come on, man. Jamel Charlo and Jamal Charlo are skilled fighters. I'm not saying they were going to win, but at least put forth the effort. At least try to be great. And burn the wall as well, just being associated with them. At one point, coming up, Jamal was my favorite fighter because I like boxer punchers. The boxer puncher, he's from Texas. He was my favorite fighter, but we've gone downhill with that in the interim. I remember betting on Charlo in that fight. I had $500 on Charlo. I was watching him get his ass beat, and I had to live bet like $1,500 on Canelo decision to save myself. Left a bad taste in my mouth. It's a good thing because I'm old. I'm 40. Back in the day, there was no live betting. I mean, you could bet on a game at halftime, like bet on the second half, but there was no live betting. There was no live odds like we have now. Like if you made a bad bet, you were stuck with it. Now you can do what Inari Chan said, and you can kind of hedge it and make your money back. But that was so obvious. That Charlo wasn't going to win that fight. Nor was he even going to try to win that fight. I don't like Caleb Plant, for instance, got knocked out by Canelo. But he fought to win. He tried to win the fight. Like he fought his fight to win. We don't have any less respect for Caleb Plant now, do we? Right? Like if you try and you show up your skill a little bit, you have a little success here and there. Even if you lose, I still respect you. What Charlo did, man, whack. That was soft what Charlo did. Especially when it's a fight you've been calling for your entire professional career. You've been calling for that fight before anyone knew who you were. and then you finally get it and you do that. That is so soft. That is so soft. I'm actually saddened by how soft that is. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't. Give me a like. Let's get a like going on. Let's get a subscribe. Follow me. Also, join my Patreon. If you join my Patreon, you get all types of cool perks. You get the lock of the week. You get a free t-shirt. You get, I'll do a scouting report. I'll handicap a fight for you on your request. The Lewis Crocker versus Jose Felix Jr. fight is going to go to the distance plus 200. Probably. I like that bet. Probably go the distance. Yeah, the odds on that. What were the odds on that? Well, the odds on the money line for Crocker was like way too wide. Like, Crocker's a decent fighter, but Jose Felix is no bum. I thought that was wide. Probably I would say points. I would probably say points. Lewis Crocker plus 200 points. That's not a bad bet. Anyone care about the Shavon Clark with Tommy McCarthy fight? Does anyone care about that? I think Clark's a good fighter. I think Clark is going to be a future world champion. Like, if you guys don't know him, he's a cruiserweight. He's originally Jamaican. He's from England now, kind of like Lennox Lewis. But he's a good cruiserweight. Like, he's good. He's athletic. He's mobile. He's nimble and quick for a cruiserweight. Like, he's good. I like him. He's fighting Tommy McCarthy, who's the Irish guy, who's also black. It's an interesting fight. McCarthy's okay. He's a decent fighter. Shavon Clark by decision. It's a good fight. I don't know, man. That's tough. I can see it going the distance. I can see Shavon Clark ending him. Like, if you watch McCarthy's last two fights, like, he's fat. Like, I don't know if he's trying. If he's trying, he's not going to win, but he can make the fight really interesting. If he shows up just to show up, which I kind of think he did in his last fight, where he's fat and loose in the belly, is like, and he's just here to cash a check, he's going to get washed. He's going to get destroyed. It just depends on what McCarthy shows up. Like, McCarthy's not bad. Gotta go, bro. Keep doing your thing. This one is one of the better predictions. Thank you. Better boxing talents out there. Anybody that chose Barroso over Davies has my respect going forward. Thank you. And that was easy for me. I knew Barroso was going to win. It was just a matter of when. I didn't know they'd get him out in the first round, but I was confident in that. He does everything better than Davies. A lot of them burn YouTube channels took Davies. Hey, a lot of them bum YouTube channels took Davies. He was the name. But if you go watch, that's why you got to go watch. All their fights are on YouTube. Just go watch it. Like, go back and watch it. Like, don't get caught up in the name value. Just go watch the fighters. And, like, you see that, like, Davies does everything that Barroso did, but not as good. And that was kind of like, okay, Barroso's going to watch this guy. If you remember, Rolly Ramiro was asked by Jim Gray why he would engage, why his punch output was so low with Barroso. And he was honest with him. And he said, I didn't want to get hit by him. That guy can hit. You don't hear world-class fighters like Rolly Ramiro say that a lot, unless the guy really has pop. So that tells me he's really, really got pop. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Follow me all forms, 3D Boxing blog. Remember to join my Patreon. That's 3D Boxing at patreon.com. I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time. Join my Patreon. You get all types of awesome perks. Like I said, you get a free t-shirt, which pays for itself. And, you know, it's January 25th, 2024. The boxing bookie went 2-0 again this week. From Texas to the world. Thank you, and God bless.